The state is on the brink of collapse. That's according to the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, who have re-echoed calls for the president to immediately declare a state of emergency in Galamsey-prone areas.
Also, there's scores of students at the Tamale Technical University sustained varied degrees of injuries following a clash with the police there. We're live in the school.
Also, residents of Kpone and adjoining communities in the Katamanso municipality staged a protest over the lack of key social amenities in the area.
It's News Central live on TV3. I'm Kpone Amano.
And I am Mawena Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now.
Now, this afternoon, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference has expressed disappointment in President John Mahama's approach to the fight against Galamsey, saying he has failed to grasp the severity of the menace. This is the latest reaction to the president's media encounter last week, where he revealed a state of emergency is not the most appropriate course of action to take at the moment. In fact, he said it is a last resort as far as the fight against Galamsey is concerned. Now, the Bishops' Conference is warning that Ghana's environment, public health and national integrity remain at a serious risk, stressing that only bold, coordinated action can deliver lasting solutions. They want the president to declare a state of emergency immediately. We'll get into their concerns shortly, but here's a 3 News explainer by Enyonam Haliga.
Galamsey is back on the front burner, with Ghanaians led by CSOs in the environment space taking government to the cleaners over a lack of efforts to deal with the existential threat. Now, the demand for a state of emergency, however, has been parried by President John Dramani Mahama, who simply says enough laws exist to deal with the situation.
I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight because we've not exhausted the powers we even have without a state of emergency. We have the opportunity to arrest anybody, to confiscate any such thing. There are laws for forest protection and all that give us enough powers to be able to act. Implementing a state of emergency might sound nice, but it should be the last extreme, the last resort. So for now, let's exercise all the powers we have. And if it becomes necessary for a state of emergency, then we'll look at it. It means we have to go to Parliament. The president can't just declare a state of emergency without, going to Parliament, because there's a limit to how long you can maintain that state of emergency. And so I believe that we still have leverage to continue to fight Galamsey without necessarily implementing a state of emergency. It means that we have to delineate the areas where the state of emergency is operational. And if you look at the area where Galamsey is taking place, it covers several districts of our country. And so we would do it if it becomes necessary. But for now, I think that we've given the security services enough powers to be able to deal with people who are found to be involved in Galamsey.
While these comments have been courted quite a disaffection for the president, questions remain about what a state of emergency would fully mean. Now, for starters, a state of emergency gives government extraordinary powers, powers that override or accelerate normal legal and constitutional processes. In many nations, that tool is used only when all conventional methods have failed. Now, what then are the implications of the president's current position? By avoiding declaring a state of emergency for now, the government aims to maintain normal legal and constitutional processes. Government is deploying people and resources, for example, training Blue River Guards, recruiting more personnel to protect water bodies and forests. These steps are in the conventional toolkit. Now, he's aware that emergency powers could allow harsher measures which may cause discomfort, curtail certain rights, or require sacrifices from the ordinary citizen. Thus, the caution. But what if President John Dramani Mahama accedes to the demand? We would see security forces could be deployed at scale, not just as task force, but as permanent enforcers in mining areas. Access to rivers, forests, and affected lands could be restricted with movement tightly monitored. Equipment used in illegal mining, such as excavators and fangs, could be seized and destroyed without the usual lengthy legal battles, and courts could fast-track Galamsey cases, handling down sentences with little delay. And most importantly, national resources such as manpower, funding, logistics could be redirected urgently to tackle the crisis head-on. Now, what is evident, though, is that President Mahama is leaving the door open for a state of emergency on Galamsey, but firmly as a backstop, not the first line of attack. His position is use what we already have, strengthen the enforcement, and only when that fails, consider extraordinary measures, that is, the declaration of a state of emergency.
But the Catholic Bishops' Conference will not have that. They want the state of emergency declared immediately in these mining areas. Their reasons are really simple. They say Galamsey has matured into a threat to national security, enriching criminals, cartels, breeding lawlessness, and fomenting violent conflicts in mining communities. And, yet in the face of this, the President of the Republic appears not to grasp the existential scale of the menace. They also go on to say in that statement that they want the president to declare without hesitation a state of emergency in the most affected mining zones and around endangered water bodies. Laws governing mining, they also urge, must be revised, sharpened, and rigorously enforced with stiffer penalties for offenders. Specialized courts, and something the president himself has also spoken about, should be established to expedite prosecutions. Now, they also say that a permanent, well-resourced and corruption-proof task force must be constituted, comprising security services, environmental experts, and local authorities to ensure consistent enforcement of the laws. They end their statement by saying that, by appealing really to the president to show courage of leadership. So that's coming from the Catholic Bishops' Conference, who have recently released this statement asking for a bit more from the president, because they say his government must prosecute not only the poor but also the powerful, not only the weak but also the connected. That's coming from the Catholic Bishops' Conference, who are asking for a state of emergency immediately from the president on the back of events that have happened as far as Galamsey is concerned. Remember that the media encounter, the president had indicated that Galamsey will be a last resort. The declaring a state of emergency will be a last resort to the fight against Galamsey, again, because he explains a number of actions are already in place, including the involvement of the police and aligning all security operatives or all security agencies who are involved in the fight against Galamsey to ensure that we have a concerted effort and not, pockets of efforts from different security agencies at different points in time. So that's it from the Catholic Bishop Conference. We'll bring you a conversation on the back of this a little later as Galamsey, or the conversation and controversy around curbing illegal mining in this country, continues to rise.
And most certainly, a conversation we'll bring to you as and when we do get the Catholic Bishops' Conference. But right now, the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, has called for a collective effort to confront corruption, saying the canker annually rips the country of huge sums of revenue that could be used to create decent jobs for people. At the launch of the stakeholder engagement on the National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Action Plan, Ms. Adebra lamented the worrying trend of ethical decay in society and how even students who sit for exam continue to exhibit unethical conduct. Christian Yali is our man on that beat. Let's connect with him right now. Christian, as always, appreciate you joining us with details from where you are. What has the Chief of Staff been saying in terms of his worry about corruption and the decay in society?
Yes, when you look at the statistics and research by various groups, Ghana loses annually an amount of $3 billion US. This is the worry of the Chief of Staff, who believes that this amount could be diverted into infrastructural projects, schools, roads, and the rest. Again, he mentions that the country has positioned itself to be the investment hub. Ghana is open to trade, yet corruption is a canker that has become a bottleneck in achieving that reality. And so what? He is calling on all of these stakeholders who have gathered here to fashion a proper way forward through the implementation of this National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Action Plan to ensure that corruption is nipped in the bud.
His Excellency the President, President John Dramani Mahama, remains resolute in his vision to build a resilient economy, one that will create jobs, strengthen infrastructure, and position Ghana to compete globally. Ghana is open for business, and we are actively seeking strategic investment to energize our local economy. But let us be honest, corruption is the greatest threat to this ambition. According to the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, our nation loses an estimated $3 billion US annually to corruption. That figure is twice the amount of our yearly foreign direct investment inflows, which stands around approximately 1.5 billion US dollars. This staggering loss deprives us of the very resources we need to build schools, hospitals, roads, and create decent jobs for our youth. We must confront this reality. If we fail to protect our resources, we will never have enough to build the schools, hospitals, and roads our people deserve. We will never create the decent jobs for our youth. We will never realize the 24-hour economy as we envision. Recent events, including the exam mob practice, reminds us that ethical decay is not confined to our institutions only. It is creeping into our homes, our schools, and our future. That is why ethics must be central to the new plan, not just as a policy, but as a national culture. Let me be clear. This government is committed to founding this National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Action Plan, because founding ethics and anti-corruption is not a cost. It is an investment. Therefore, I urge each of you to be candid, practical, and bold in your contributions. Bring forward the best ideas, share your concerns, and help us design a plan that is not only implementable, but also truly reflect the aspirations of Ghanaian people.
And Christian, we know this is the first of several engagements. Do we know the individuals who are involved in this official one?
Yes, and so this involves about 5 different stakeholder engagement that will be held in Accra alone from today to Thursday. And so you have civil society organizations, among many other multi-stakeholder groups that are involved in this. But you have Mary Ada of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, for instance, make a case that the fight against corruption shouldn't be left to government alone. She is of the view that it cannot be mere sloganeering, but it should be one of a national commitment. She even calls for what she calls a partnership of leaders and citizens alike. We can take a listen to what she has been saying.
The stakeholder forum or the working group comprised of a lot of people from various sectors in the economy who shape and do a lot of work around governance and anti-corruption. And so it's not surprising that we have come up with a befitting draft this morning. Over the past 2 months, the working group, which was formally inaugurated by the Chief of Staff, has been working diligently to develop a 5-year strategic framework, that's 2026 to 2030, to guide Ghana's fight against corruption. This is critical as the last strategy, which was called the NACAP, elapsed in 2020, followed by an evaluation. According to Transparency International, where I work with as the chapter in Ghana, corruption remains an existential threat, and Ghana's fight against it has not been that effective, evidenced by the various scores in the past 5 years, citing 2020 to 2023, where Ghana scored 43, and in 2024, Ghana scored 42. This stagnation and decline is evident that corruption remains an insidious obstacle to equitable development, investor confidence, and citizens' trust in the governance process. The fight against corruption cannot be left to government, nor can it be reduced to sloganeering. It must be a national commitment, a partnership of leaders and citizens alike.
Christian, as always, thank you very much for those details. That's my colleague, Christian Yali there.
Now, scores of students of Tamale Technical University have sustained varied degrees of injuries after the students clashed with police during a protest against management of the school over what they describe as neglect, misappropriation, mismanagement of the school funds, and unjustified fee increment. The students blocked all entry points of the school and also bent lorry tires at the administration to register their displeasure. Let's connect now with Christopher Mwako, who's a Savannah region correspondent. Christopher, talk to us. You've been to the campus. What's the situation there now?
Yes, so Kpone, the situation has been brought under control. Some relative calm has been restored on the school campus, even though we still see scores of the students walking around the school campus and indicating that they don't want management to get access to their offices. But I must say that the agitations have stopped and peace or calm has been restored on the school campus.
About the protest that broke out, the chaos that broke out earlier. What are the circumstances, really?
Yeah, so these students are actually agitating over what they describe as neglect by management of the school in taking action on some developmental issues or concerns that the students have raised. They have also talked about the issues of mismanagement and misappropriation of school funds by not channeling the funds or the revenues generated by the school as a result of payment of school fees into developmental issues and also concerns of students when it comes to school fees adjustments. They are saying that right now, as we speak, management has actually removed the SRC president and the GRASAC president, who are automatic members of the fee fixing committee from the committee, and indicated to them that they were going to adjust school fees upwards. And so this compelled the leadership of the school to organize their students to agitate today to register their displeasure over the behavior and attitude of management towards the student. As we speak, they are also making a point that as a result of their concerns raised to management, management has refused to transfer some monies paid as dues to SRC into the SRC account. And so these and many others resulted in the agitation this morning that led to a heated tension on the school campus.
I see. But, I mean, the police were there to restore calm. How did we get to the point where there was a clash between the police and the protesting students?
Okay, so when the students got to the administration of the school, they started burning lorry tires and adding petrol to the flames, which, according to some of the people around, was very bad. And so the police were called in to come and maintain order on the school campus. When the police team arrived, the students indicated that they didn't want to see the police on campus, and so they began pelting stones at the police. The police responded in same measure by releasing their hot water from the police van, and also firing some rubber bullets and live ammunition into the air. In fact, the rubber bullets actually hit some of the students, and that is why we have scores of them currently at the hospitals. Others who sustained minor injuries are also on campus. And so that was what triggered the confusion and tension between the police and the students.
I see. And Christopher, you've been speaking to some of the students. Let's take a listen. We'll come back and find out what school management is saying about the situation.
The office of the President, Graduate Students Association of Ghana, Tamale Technical University, and the office of the SRC President, Tamale Technical University. We are addressing this letter to the Honorable Minister of Education, Honorable Haruna Idrisu. The subject of the petition is we are petitioning against management neglect, misappropriation of funds, and unjustified fee increment at the Tamale Technical University. Honorable Minister, please. We understand presidents of the Graduate Students Association of Ghana and the Student Representative Council of the Tamale Technical University. They simply submit this petition on behalf of the student body. We are compelled to bring to your urgent attention issues of systematic neglect of student welfare, alleged misapplication of funds, and the proposed increment.
This morning, what you are seeing is a demonstration, a planned peaceful demonstration that has been organized by the Graduate Student Association of this university as well as the Student Representative Council. Our aim, our main motive for organizing this demonstration is an issue we have at hand with management, which has to do with the activities that are pressing issues that are affecting a student body in this particular university. Let's talk about lecture house. Let's talk about campus comfortability. Let's look at the hostel. Let's look at the administration block itself. This is a university. This is not an institute. This is a university. This is not a primary school. And we are saying that for over the years we have been paying school fees. If you take the school fees structure, there are levies for development. There are levies for sanitation.
Well, Christopher, talk to us about school activities now. Are they able to continue? What is school management saying?
Yes, so currently school activities such as lectures is not effective because the lecturers and school management are not even on campus. They are nowhere to be found because of the situation, the tense situation. Now, management have been tight-lipped about this whole incident. All efforts to get management to respond has yielded no positive results. We have contacted the school's communication directorate to get to know what management is saying or doing about this whole incident, but that has yielded no positive result. Kpone.
Very well, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Christopher Amwako is a Savannah region correspondent who joined us from the Tamale Technical University, where he reports that calm has returned after a protest followed by a clash between students and police personnel there.
Let's return to the capital because the GPRTU, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, are embarking on a demonstration protesting the occupation of portions of the CMB Lorry Park within the Central Business District by a private developer. The protest, which brought together hundreds of drivers and traders, aims to request government intervention and protection for the land earmarked for commercial transport operations at the Cocoa Marketing Board, CMB area in the nation's capital. The association, together with some hawkers, embarked on the procession to the Jubilee House, where a petition was presented to the presidency for immediate intervention.
We're currently here at the Jubilee House, and GPRTU is embarking on a protest. They, together with other allied associations and unions, are asking the government to intervene to help them take back some lands that have been taking over by private individuals and institutions who claim they are using it for business purposes. Now, the deputy PRO of the association has claimed that one Dr. Asumedu and other private individuals have taken over the lands that have been earmarked specifically for lorry stations and market women. They are asking that the government should intervene and come to their aid so that they could preserve and protect their lands. One Dr. Asumedu, his pictures are on the placards. I want to find out if he's the only person you feel is threatening to take over your lands.
Actually, he's not the only person. Some of them have come and they have been able to take the land from us. That is why this time round, we have decided that we are not going to allow anybody. And this is not the first time, the second time. It is something that they have been doing it to us. So this time round, we say we will not allow anybody. So he's not the first person. First, I was there. And he was able to go to court, always said that, oh, court order, and he has been able to build the place. And the railways people are telling us that he doesn't even have documents. That's what the railways people are telling us. I'm not the one saying it. So this time round, we will not allow anybody to come there because we have been there for long. I was there 1996. GPITU 1985. So just do the calculation. You know the number of years that we have been there. We have been trying that we wanted to develop the place, and they will tell us that, oh, government said, oh, we should wait. Government is bringing an investor, and before you could say jack, somebody have come and just hijacked the place. So this time round, we are going to develop the place ourselves. We are ready to build ultra-modern driving car park, and to build shops, nice shops, to beautify the place so that the president will know that at least human beings are there. So that is what we want to.
Which areas are these specifically?
CMB, that's Abuja. And you can see that from Swansea Arcade coming. Because they have been coming to take the land, the women doesn't have money to even go and pay for shops. So what they normally do is they always go and sell in the street. And health-wise, it is not good for the women. This time around, we are not giving anybody chance. So nobody should make attempt to come even that place that is coming to build a shop. We will not allow anybody.
Papa Nabaji assassin in the years.
Papa Ben.
Your friend Mr. Usu. Abaji assassin in the years. Ade assassin. Owienu. Onankasa police quarters in Kpone. Wabaji police quarters in. I see na bansuro si where you be a police for na de no.
And that's one of them speaking to my colleague Nura Basimoro, is Industrial Relations Officer of the GPRT. Let's connect with him right now. We saw him in the shot as well. Mr. Moro, thank you for speaking to us. And so what are the concerns you're raising, reason for which you were presenting that petition at the presidency this morning?
Thank you for calling. It's all about the CNB Lorry Park. Gradually, we are losing the Lorry Park, hence our petition to the presidency. You know, that portion is taken over by government under the Railway Authority. And that Lorry Park is serving almost all over the regions. But for some years now, gradually, someone comes, Railway has given some portion to him, and then he takes that portion, and it's now continuing until recent times. Someone also came that the previous government gave some portion to him, and that he wanted to take that portion. We realized gradually the Lorry Park, we are losing it. Today we have to see to it and make sure we petition the government to see how best the government can rescue the Lorry Park for us. So this is the reason why we petition the government.
Right. Mr. Moro, I want to understand a few things. This Lorry Park we're talking about, the land doesn't originally belong to the GPRTU. It belongs to the railway.
It belongs to government under Railways Authority.
Right. Have you entered into any agreement with the Railway Authority to be on that piece of land? Do you pay any rent or anything for the Lorry station?
We've been paying rent. Yes, we did. We've been paying rent. They've given us site plan as well. We did. We have all those documents.
So you have documentation for it. Now someone says...
documents. If you demand today, we can give it to you. We've been paying rent. We have site plan as well, covering the Lorry Park.
How much rent has the GPRTU been paying, and what's the payment ratio like? Are you paying every year, or this is done every month?
I say we have receipts covering all payments. If you come to the office, we can give you copies.
Right. So now you want... So you want government to prevent this latest developer from proceeding to take away portions of the land. Are you interested in the state as well coming into an agreement with you in some sort to build this ultra-modern Lorry station and market area as well? Because that possibly is one area people say this could go through.
Come again?
I'm saying that you're saying you want the states to prevent this latest developer from taking over the land. But are you considering partnering with the government, if that is even possible, to build an ultra-modern Lorry station?
Why not? That is what we are looking for. Now that the government says you want to reset the nation, meaning all bad things are going to be put into good things. So we'll be more than happy to welcome the government to bring it back into one of the modern Lorry stations to continue serving Mother Ghana as well.
Is this part of the petition you presented at the presidency today?
No, the petition we presented is to government to make sure he rescue the Lorry Park for its good use as well.
Right, we'll leave the conversation here. I'm sure we'll try and get feedback from government as well as to what all of this is about. But this person, just before I let you go, this person who is seeking to take over the land now, did that person present documentation to you to show that indeed his allegation of having bought the land from the previous administration is true?
We want the government to come in. If the land is government land, and we are now losing it to an individual, private business person, the government will definitely, instead of benefiting all, that is going to benefit only an individual. I don't think in the wisdom of the government, it will allow that. Secondly, government lands taken over by individuals. They have their way of doing it. If it is not the proper way, why not? The government will not accept that.
Right. Mr. Moro, like I said, we'll leave the conversation here. I'm sure we'll come back to you as and when time will allow us. But Abasi Moro is Industrial Relations Officer of the GPRTU. Take us on to our very first break here. When we return, a bit more protest for you in the Kpone Katamanso area because the residents there are decrying lack of social amenities. Stanley Niblew is stationed there. He'll bring us the details as we have it if you stay with us here on News Central.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability
Here on TV3. Let's talk about our roads now. This afternoon, residents of Kpone and adjoining communities in the Kpone municipality staged a protest to register their displeasure over the lack of key social amenities in the area. For years, the people have struggled with limited access to potable water, forcing them to rely heavily on expensive water tankers. Stanley Nibleu has been following the protesters and joins us with a bit more from there. Stanley, good afternoon to you. Right, Stanley, good afternoon to you. What can you report from there? Well, Stanley Nibleu cannot hear us at the moment, but we'll rework the lines and reconnect with Stanley. Stanley is joining us from that protest in Kpone. Residents there in the Kpone Katamanso municipality are protesting poor roads in their community. They say for years the roads have not been tended to, making commuting on these roads a terrible and arduous task. Let's connect again with Stanley Nibleu. Stanley, what can you report from where you are?
The Katamanso Military Assembly, where the protesters, the communal protesters, actually convert. They get 2 minutes ago to give their petition to the military chief executive. From here, they also been proceeded to the traditional council, where they will be following and participating. That has brought this to this very point. One has to be yes, the staff have not been praying. Comparing them to actually rely on trains around. But then also, the trains have been available that actually serve the community have also been polluted.
Oh, what a shame. Stanley, we cannot hear you. You fix that audio, we'll attempt.
Now, number one is our road. If you look at where we are standing now, there is nothing showing that this road has been repaired or anything. Our road is very, very bad. Very dusty. Not the main roads alone, but the inner roads. When you go to the assembly, like the municipal assembly, it's very bad. It is very, very bad. Now, our water, for over 20 years now, we don't have water. We don't have water, and we've made so many consultations. We've gone to water wells, all the stakeholders that we have to meet, we've met them. But still, there's nothing going on. If you look at the town, this is a well-generated farm area, but the government is not coming to our aid. We are embarking on this demonstration for the government to come turn its back and look at us as Kpone Katamanso municipality. Now, our people normally buy water from tanker. We always rely on tanker. Tanker, they buy it 400, then they sell it 1,000 too. They also sell, how do you call it, the 4 gallon, 5 CD, 7 CD, and other things. We are suffering. We are suffering. President Mahama did mention during the campaign season that he's going to fix the Kpone road. We are pleading on the president that this shouldn't be a campaign message. We want him to deliver on his message. Thank you very much.
Well, we just heard from a resident of Kpone Katamanso municipality. Let's try again with Stanley. Stanley, you were telling us earlier that the protesters and residents really have gathered at the local assembly office. Talk to us about that.
Yes, so quite some few minutes ago, the protesters made up of residents of Kpone and then its environs, they just converged or got to the local assembly to petition the municipal chief executive. And then from here, they will be proceeding to the traditional council, where they will also petition same or do same to the traditional council for onward receipts or forward it to the presidency for redress of their grievances. I must also say that just as you indicated, or it was indicated in the SOP that you just made, the residents' 3 issues have brought them this far. And these issues have to do with their water situation. You know, Kema has been, as we speak, is rapidly developing. And so the residents feel or believe that the necessary amenities that must complement the rapid growth of the area, they are not getting. And so they then tend to rely on some streams around. But then the urbanization has also resulted in the pollution of most of the streams that they rely on when supply from Ghana Water Company is cut. Those streams are no longer reliable. And so they have to depend on tanker services, which is also expensive to afford. And so they feel that during the campaign season, both the major political parties, the NPP and the NDC, told them that should they win power or should they get the nod to lead this country in 2025, they will make sure that their problems, especially the ones that have to do with the provision of social amenities, will be addressed. As I speak, 8 months or 9 months into this administration, those promises are yet to be fulfilled. And so for them, they feel that 9 months is quite a time that the president should have acted, because they indicated that they will not take much time when they assume power to address their issues. And the water issue is just one leg of the conversation. The other one has to do with their road. Over the weekend, I used this road, the road leading from Kpone to Kpone. And I must confess that it is nothing to write home about. It is in a very deplorable state. And anytime it rains, this road, there's been the construction of miniature gutters along the shoulders of the road, and these are very shallow and filled with sand. And so anytime it rains, it quickly gets full and then floods the entire stretch. And they feel that situation must be rectified as quickly as possible. And they also made mention about their communal boundaries with Tamale Town and then the Pram traditional areas. They feel that most of their lands are being encroached. But the communal boundary is not much of a problem than the water and the roads, which they want government to intervene as quickly as possible so that it can give residents some kind of respite.
I see. Stanley, do we know if local assembly authorities have received the residents who are protesting yet?
So currently, as I speak, they are waiting for the municipal MC, the municipal chief executive, to come out from the assembly to come and address them. Right. They don't want any other member of the assembly to come and address them except the municipal chief executive, because they feel that he is the representative of the government, and so whatever if they are able to reach out to him and whatever he is going to tell them today, they are going to hold him accountable to his word. So they don't want any other person from the assembly to come and address them.
Very well, Stanley. Thank you so much for the report. And Stanley Niblewu there. He joined us from the Kpone Katamanso municipality, where residents are protesting poor roads and water crisis there.
Still in the capital, President John Mahama has announced that the Ghana National Petroleum Company, GNPC, and its explorative subsidiary, Exploco, are advancing preparations to drill 2 exploration wells by the end of the 3rd quarter of 2026. The move, the president says, is important as the country strives to make use of its energy resources that risk going stale. Speaking at the Africa Oil Week Summit, he is urging energy companies to partner Ghana in tapping its energy resources.
Here in Ghana, opportunities abound in the oil and gas sector. Ghana has several sedimentary basins with great prospects. At the Risk Western Basin, where we have the Jubilee 10 and Sankofa Jinyami fields. Recently, we reached a $2 billion investment agreement with the Jubilee and 10 partners. And we're now in talks with the Jinyami Sankofa partners to speed up and expand their activities in their concession area. The Central Salt Pond and Eastern Kita basins demonstrate significant potential, and we invite and encourage investors to visit the data room and review the available information on these prospects. It is instructive to note that Ghana, like most African countries, has large unlicensed acreages across our offshore and onshore basins. The onshore Voltaian Basin presents one of the most exciting frontiers on the continent. The Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, and its exploration subsidiary, Exploco, are advancing preparations to drill 2 new exploration wells by the end of the third quarter of 2026. This presents a unique farming opportunity for partners seeking to pioneer Ghana's onshore potential. Under my leadership, we're committed to building a business environment in Ghana that meets investors' expectations while safeguarding our national interest. Africa must not be left behind in the energy transition. If international oil companies reduce their presence, we must prevent our resources from becoming stranded assets. This requires African collaboration, financing, and innovation. We already have the tools: the African Petroleum Producers Organization, the African Continental Free Trade Area, and the Emerging African Energy Bank. These institutions can mobilize African capital, technology, and markets. They can drive aggressive exploration, refining, petrochemical, storage, and transport infrastructure. Together, they can ensure that Africa's resources fuel African development.
Authority has entreated institutions to sign onto its institution verification service platform for seamless service delivery as it marks World ID Day. The authority insists that applicants should report cases of extortion if they are confronted with any, explaining that for first-time applicants, they don't need to pay to get their Ghana card. We can now connect with George Kpone, who's joining us live from the event to mark World ID Day. George, what else can you report from there?
Kpone, thank you so much for having me. A very good afternoon, and we're coming to you live from the NIA office here in Accra. And like you rightly mentioned, it's World ID Day today, World Identity Day. And so it's a reason the authority has to address the media about their progress of work so far. And some persons have been successfully registered onto their database. And Kpone, like you also said, you know, the authority has warned that persons that visit banks and all that should not allow these institutions, financial institutions, to photocopy their Ghana cards. There's this platform that you need to just sign up to. That's the Institution Verification Service Platform. So these institutions should sign up to that one and then get real-time verification of the details or buy data of these very customers. And I don't know if you're aware of this. Some institutions were also owing the authority. For instance, NH.
Oh, George Kpone there, unfortunately, that connection drops. But there was an event today to commemorate World ID Day where the boss of the National Insurance Authority spoke at. Let's take a listen to him.
We continue to register Ghanaians onto the National Register and issue them with Ghana cards. We plan to extend registration services to Ghanaians in places of detention. Resume the registration of children aged 0 to 5, and 6 to 14. There was a registration that was done last year, that was in 2024, for 6 to 14. But due to technical challenges, we were not able to print their cards for them. Lucky, I'm happy to announce that all cards have been printed. Over 350,000 cards have been printed. It should be sent to the districts. And on the 22nd of this month, coming this month, NIA, in partnership with National Health Insurance and our technical partners, IMS2, will be going back to the field to issue the cards to all the kids, the children that we registered. So they will all be they will be getting their cards from 22nd at the various schools.
Yayira Koku is head of the National Identification Authority. Earlier was George Kpone, our reporter who sat through the commemorative event earlier today. We'll take another break. When we come back, a few more stories. We'll call it a day.
Media Journal invites you to the National Thought Leadership Forum under the theme From Blueprint to Break, Making Affordable Housing Work. This convening and roundtable reflections will assemble policymakers, financiers, developers, traditional leaders, and innovators to move the conversation from policy to practice. It will showcase real housing prototypes, explore financing modules, and launch a practical roadmap for affordable housing delivery in Ghana. The event is scheduled for Tuesday, 23rd September 2025 from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Labadi Beach Hotel. The program will feature contributions from esteemed speakers like Edward Atosapong, Managing Director, ADB PLC, Gideon Akrofi, Executive Chairman, Rehoboth Properties Limited, Professor S.O. Afram, Department of Architecture, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, Mr. Prosper Hoetu, Chief Executive Officer, Ghana Home Ownership Fund, and the keynote speaker, Honorable Kenneth Gilbert Ajay, Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources. This event will be broadcast live on TV3 and 3FM 92.7, amplified across all our digital platforms and on 3news.com. For inquiries, call 0570-899-000.
This event is brought to you by ADB PLC, sponsored by Rehoboth Properties and supported by Mark Motors, dealers in Isuzu, Ghana Home Owners Fund, Syntex Tank, and Labadi Beach Hotel.
Back here on News Central, let's bring you our final story for this afternoon, where critical challenges in operational funding, dilapidated health infrastructure, and poor conditions of service have been identified as the impediment on the delivery of essential health care at grassroots level. These concerns, according to the District Directors of Health Services Group, is derailing efforts to enhance emergency responses.
The concerns were raised at a major health conference in the Ashanti region, where health directors from across the country convened to discuss pressing issues in the public health sector. Dr. Justice Thomas Sevugu, chairman of the Group of District Directors of Health Services, highlighted the challenges as the most significant impediment to effective healthcare delivery.
Has the base of the pyramid of health, which is the district, the operational level. Things has to be set right. So we are appealing that when we are able to get operational funding, we'll get the logistics, we get enhanced equipment, then we will also be able to sit down, prepare effective emergency preparedness plans, simulate them, and ensure that the system is ready and able to confront any health emergencies that will come.
In a swift response, the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Franka Kpone, who addressed the conference, assured the directors of the government's commitment to addressing the infrastructure deficit.
We know as directors of health services, your key concern is to be able to remove all the barriers as exist in our healthcare system away so that we'll be able to improve access and improve quality. This starts from the very basic level of our health provision system, i.e. the primary health system. I know that we have numerous chip zones designed for our respective districts with no physical structures available to provide support for patients when need be. With this in mind, at the very basic level, His Excellency the President is committed in making sure that we provide as much chip compounds as possible.
Echoing the theme of the conference, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service called for a renewed focus on strengthening disease surveillance systems.
Our health security is under constant threat. The recent cholera and meningitis outbreaks, as well as the ongoing circulation of Mpox, remind us that we cannot be complacent. Preparedness must be at the heart of our work. We need to strengthen the disease surveillance system, especially at the district level.
The conference concluded with a consensus on the need for a multifaceted approach, combining government investment in infrastructure and technology with an urgent address of the welfare concerns of the health workforce to build a more resilient and sustainable healthcare system for Ghana.
And that's our bulletin for you this afternoon. I am Marwin Aigbeta.
And I am Kpone Amano. Thank you so much for your company. We're back here same time tomorrow. Next is the afternoon show. Bye-bye.